Welcome everyone. I declare the meeting of Greater Hume Council open at 6 p.m. on Wednesday the 20th of May 2026. In accordance with Council's Code of Meeting Practice, this meeting is being recorded and will be placed on Council's webpage for public information. All present are reminded that by speaking you are agreeing to your views and comments being recorded and published. You're also reminded that when speaking you must be respectful of others and use appropriate language. Council accepts no liability or any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during this meeting. I ask that everyone be respectful of others when they are speaking and refrain from speaking over the top of one another. I'll also ask councillors that when you're moving a recommendation that you read out the recommendation, please, that Zoe so kindly put up on the screens. There's no public speakers tonight. I'd ask Councillor Shield if she could please lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all your blessings. We ask for your guidance and strength throughout this meeting and thereafter as we look to serve the residents of this shire. We ask for your blessings upon this meeting and each participant, the work and the people they represent. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Shulk. I would like to acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the traditional lands of the Wiradjuri people and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Any applications for leaves or apologies, please, councillors? Councillor, would you like to press your button, please, Councillor Whiston?
Yeah, I'd like to request an application for leave for the June meeting. Thank you.
Can I have a mover and seconder, please, councillors?
Happy to move.
Councillor Hooper?
I'll second.
All those in favour? Declared it carried. Sorry, confirmation of minutes from the 22nd of April 2026. Can I have a mover and can I have someone to move the recommendation, please?
I'll move that, Madam Mayor.
Would you like to read it out, please, Councillor Morton?
Yes. On the screen. I moved the resolution is that the minutes of the ordinary meeting of the Greater Hume Council held at Culcairn on the 22nd of April as printed and circulated be confirmed as true and correct record of the proceedings of such meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Morton. Would you like to turn off your microphone? And can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Liston?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. All those in favour? All in favour, declared it carried. Action report from the minutes. If there's any questions regarding the action report, can you please state the item number and the page, please, councillors?
Yes, please, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Shulk.
Page 7034, to do with the change of bridge name to the Bill McDonald Bridge. Is that well underway or completed now?
Mr. Blackie, would you like to make a comment?
Happy to make a comment where as it's a highway, Transport for New South Wales has to install the signage and we're waiting for them to give us confirmation of when they're actually going to install it. So unfortunately it's taking a bit longer than we hoped, but it's a work in progress.
Thank you, Mr. Blackie. Councillor Shulk.
Thank you. I just thought it's been there for a little while and okay, thank you. There's another one on page 10, 7068, to do with the meeting that was proposed for the 8th of May to do with the solar farm. Was that meeting held with the Mayor and General Manager, and is there anything, do we get a feedback on that? Because I think the Wiradjuri group, action group, were thinking there might have been some more feedback.
Would you like to comment on that?
Through you, Madam Mayor. So yes, we did meet with the Minister's Advisor on May the 8th, 2026. That discussion was around planning in general, so the process around Alinta or anyone else putting in an application. What he did tell us was that there's about 168 applications across New South Wales of projects, and that he would talk to Alinta further to find out, whether there was any information that they could provide to him. I actually spoke with a representative from Alinta today. They have now forwarded, so we have been chasing them for a couple of weeks. They have now forwarded information to the action group around the project. But essentially at this stage, it is they haven't done any feasibility around the project. It's very low on their priority list. And there's nothing further that they're able to advise at this stage. But they have given the action group contact details that they can then talk to Alinta if they would like.
Okay, thank you. That's good. Yes, I hope it stays very low on their list. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Councillor Shulk. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Liston.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just back to page 7 of the action report with the Sweetwater Bridge naming. If I could just ask the engineer, Mr. Blackie, I presume once the roads, national roads, are ready to put the signs up, there will be a public opening or unveiling?
Through you, Madam Mayor, it wasn't planned to be a public opening. We were going to advise the family of it. That was what the plan was, but not a public opening. It was purely advising the family if they wished to be there when the signs get installed.
Yeah, that's been my understanding too, Councillor Liston, that the family will be involved with the opening. But if the family, I suppose it's up to the family if they would like something else. Mr. Blackie, would you say?
Through you, Madam Mayor. I do think some of the locals might be thinking there's going to be some sort of a public ceremony. I'm not sure. That was a while ago I did hear. So whether we need to follow up on that. I can follow up.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Back on the Alinta project, Madam General Manager, I've got a call it an associate in the army, and he informs me the project's much further along the line than I'm making out. So if you can push back on them a little bit to try and get the thing called truth, because what he told me, it's far more than just thinking about it. It's a lot further advanced, and I can understand the bureaucrat telling you that there's so many projects in the state and go away and be good. Anyway.
Yeah, just through you, Madam Mayor. The issue about a public sort of opening is that because the signage is actually on the Hume Highway, the issue would be traffic management of that, and I'm pretty sure transport wouldn't be keen to have a number of people being out there. And if we did any sort of closure or required the Hume, it would be a lot of work. And so my understanding was the family would be notified, and that was it. But beyond that, there would be some issues in relation if it become a public event, because there's a lot of work to do an event that's on the Hume Highway. So,
thank you, Mr. Blackie. Probably makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Any other questions or comments from the action report, please, councillors? Truly, Councillor Morton, you haven't got anything? No. Thank you. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the action report?
Happy to move.
Councillor Hooper, Councillor Quinn, all those in favour? All in favour. There are disclosures of interest. Any disclosure of interest, councillors? Nil? Thank you. No mail minute today. Any notices of motion? No. Go on to the reports from the officers. Part A for determination. 10.1 environmental planning. 10.1.1 there's a DA 10.2026.3.1 Torrens title subdivision to create 3 lots in Gindra. There's a recommendation on page 9. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Councillor Liston. Seconder. Councillor Hooper. Any conversation? Would you like to open the debate, Councillor Liston or Hooper?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I've had a look at it and I'm quite happy with that, that proposed subdivision.
Thank you. Anyone against? Councillor
I just
Shield.
have some comments. There seems to be many inconsistencies with some of these subdivisions, with trees and caring for whatever nature's around. And it's like we start off with a nice patchwork of subdivisions and then it becomes a crazy patchwork of subdivisions. Page 25 of that report, it had something, well, below minimum lot sizes. So we sort of set things, I don't know, it just seems we chop and change pretty often with zoning. And I know demands and things change, but when the, maybe I'm getting the two mixed up with the sizing, but there's, which, is this the one that's close to the heritage park real estate? Yes, thank you. They're all around the 2,000 square metre, or a bit over 2,000 square metres, I think, from memory when I looked at that. So then we're cutting them up to under a minimum lot size. Like it's, I know everyone has different requirements, but it just seems a bit all over the shop at times. That was all I wanted to mention. Thank you.
I'm turning your mic off, please, official. Mr. Kane, would you like to make a comment? Because I think those 2 lot sizes are actually just on 2,000 square metres. Is that right?
Yes, Madam Mayor, that's correct. They are 2,000 square metres. They are in an area that had a minimum lot size of 4,000 square metres. And then there's been a number of amendments to the LEP, and since then, since the minimum lot size was established in 2012, and the adjacent land had an amendment to the LEP that changed the minimum lot size to 2,000 square metres. So the land immediately adjacent to this is 2,000 square metres. And so there is the ability, there was some changes a couple of years ago to clause 4.6 that allows proponents to make a clause 4.6 variation if they can make an argument based on planning merits, which they have, and the staff are satisfied because it's adjacent to the 2,000 square metre area, immediately adjacent, that there wouldn't be a detriment to these 2 lots being at 2,000 square metres.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Any other comments? Questions? No? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour, declared it carried. 10.1.2, planning proposal to amend GHLEP 2012 rezoning of part lot 102 DP 778051 or 1017 Urana Road. Recommendation is on page 55. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Not quick tonight. Thank you, Councillor Hooper. Anyone else like to second it? Thanks, Councillor Liston. Would you like to open any comments, Councillor Hooper?
No, no further comments from me. I think the report outlines it well.
Councillor Liston? No?
I'm of the understanding it's part of the overall long-term plan, so it seems to fit in to what I believe has been in the planning for quite a while.
Thank you, Councillor Liston. No other comments? I'll put it.
No.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Quinn. Oops, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to move an amendment to the motion. The amendment is simply that the matter lay on the table until new development charges are brought forward to council. If I get a second, I'll talk to them.
Councillor Quinn, you're moving the amendment. It says that you'd like it to lay on the table until we visit some.
Revisit the development charges.
Thank you. You've got that, so? Development charges. I get a seconder. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The development charges that we've been using all along date back to probably 2021. It's now 26. Things have changed drastically. If we don't change now, come up with some new development charges, development could walk all the way through to the top of the Gindra Gap under the present LEP, etc., etc. Now, if the development charges don't change, there's no benefit to the ratepayers whatsoever. It's a great benefit to the big developer. I'm interested in the ratepayers, Madam Mayor. It'll be a burden on them, sort of thing. And I just want them to pay their fair share. Or we adjust theirs from time to time, and I know I'll be told that, oh, you can't do it. You can do it if you want to. I'm all for the actual subdivision, but I just want them to pay their fair share of the cake, so the ratepayers are not picking up the tab. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Quinn. Was there any other comments? Councillor Morton?
To you, Madam Mayor, could I ask the planning team and our finance team, do we have any development? We've had a discussion about development contributions over the last year or so with regards to making change to those going forward. We've had several discussions on it. Have we come to any point in time where we've made a resolution, or should we be making a resolution from the 1st of July or from some date? Do we need to actually set something up rather than just continuing to talk about it? Please.
Mr. Kane?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to make a comment about development contributions for this parcel of land, that's several stages. There's many stages to go between this land being ready to be able to have a development application lodged for. So this is just for the rezoning of the land at this particular stage, and usually contributions are tied to the development consent. And so I would say for this piece, you know, the opportunity to pursue a development consent for this could be at least 12 months away. And I think that the proponent, based on that, I think that there's ample opportunity to determine appropriate contributions for this parcel of land, and the planning proposal itself could proceed independently of that, and it should, in my opinion, Madam Mayor, because there's those subsequent steps. Council has been pursuing a number of options in relation to contributions in the South Gindra precinct. So there is a contributions plan that Councillor Quinn mentioned that was adopted some time ago, but that the actual precinct has expanded probably to be double that size, and council has the opportunity to review the contributions that we can charge from that. And so we're exploring our options in producing a new contributions plan, but independently of that, and if the proponent is satisfied and staff are satisfied, there's the opportunity to collect contributions via voluntary planning agreements. And because of the timing of contribution plans that exceed $20,000 having to go to IPART, the developers themselves are quite agreeable to to have these discussions with us at voluntary planning agreements, because we are looking to go past $20,000, well past that. And so, and the voluntary planning agreements are usually written into the consent. The consent will say that is given, and it'll say you can't proceed to get your subdivision work certificate where works physically until a voluntary planning agreement has been negotiated with council. And so in any contributions plan or voluntary planning agreements, you've got a cost to the services that you're looking to cover. And that process has been happening with the engineering department, and they're far more advanced than what they were even a month or two ago. And we're at the last stages of doing that. And then really where we will be, we'll be able to talk to the developers that are in the precinct and say, this is the number that we'll be looking for in a voluntary planning agreement. Are you agreeable to that? And if they're not agreeable to that, we'll take those same numbers and we'll move them into a draft contribution plan, which would have to go out to exhibition and also be signed off by IPART. So it's the same numbers, whether it's the voluntary planning agreement or the contribution plan. The passage is a little bit different and the timing is a lot different. So a contribution plan that has to go through IPART's probably not attractive to the developers anyway because of the time period. But as a default option, we're not putting all our eggs in one basket and saying we're wedded to the voluntary planning agreement. We're determining consultants, that professional consultants who can help us draft a contribution plan for the precinct. So that's where we're up to, Madam Mayor, in relation to contributions in the precinct, which would cover this piece of land.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. Councillor.
Thank you. I'm happy with that.
Could you turn off your mic, please, Mr. Kane? Councillor Shield.
Madam, should we be a little more prepared? Are we like, could we be caught out without being prepared with that new proposal with some other development that pops up in between us getting ready to have one of that plan or plan A and B in place?
Mr.
Is that a
Kane?
possibility that if we don't have something or a date that we're aiming for, that we're going to have that information sort of organised? Are we likely to be caught along the way?
Thank you, Mr. Kane.
Difficult to say. Often big developers have got multiple sites that they are working on. Smaller developers less so because they kind of, they have different means to do that. But your big developers might put a particular development on hold while they've got their ducks in a line and another development in another council area or something like that. I guess that's an eventuality. It's probably more likely with a bigger developer than a little developer because of the costs involved in developing land. So often smaller developers have, they've got all their eggs in one basket. Well, that's not the case for bigger developers. They have a pipeline of development. So yes, it could happen, like I say. For sure.
Thank you, Mr. Kane.
Thank you.
We need to, Councillor Cooper, we need to vote on the amendment, please, councillors. So the amendment is that we lay it on the table. I haven't got the whole wording, I'm sorry, but lay it on the table until we get the contributions to come back to council. Correct, Councillor Quinn and Councillor Lindner? Yep, all those in favour of the amendment? Councillor Quinn, Councillor Lindner, Councillor Hicks, Councillor Shield, and all those against? Councillor Morton, Liston, Cooper, and myself. That's great. Yeah, I have got the casting. So I think the explanation from the director that, that's not going to affect this, but I do think that Councillor Quinn is very right in what he's saying, that we need to act a little bit more hastily with these development contributions.
Could I make a comment before you have your casting vote?
Yes, Councillor Quinn.
In any Madam Mayor, And councillors, in any project in life, you want to know the cost up front. That's life. And if you don't think that way, well, you can forget about life. You've got to know the cost. Now, these developers want to know what they're upfront about. And if you're going to leave it for 6 months or could be 2 years before it's presented, they'll just assume it's business as usual. So I think it's a very, Mr. Keynes explained it very well from the way he thinks. I think the complete opposite to him most of the time, 9 days a week. And that's life. This is I'm very serious about ratepayers not having to pick up the tab of what could happen. Thank you for letting me do that, mate.
Councillor Hooper.
Yeah, just through you, Madam Mayor. Still haven't worked out, Councillor Quinn, whether we're in agreement or in conflict, which is winning. But I do agree, as I said many, many times, that these contributions need to be addressed. 100% they do, with urgency. Urgency needs to happen on this. I cannot stress that enough. However, the explanation, thank you, Mr. Kane, that was a very good explanation. Understanding the process, we're not improving any development consent on this application. This is just a planning proposal for rezoning the LEP. The opportunity will come back to council to approve the development.
So it's for each, and I'm going to use my casting vote and vote against the amendment. So that amendment has lost. Like I said before, though, Councillor Quinn, I do agree that contributions need to come back to council as a matter of urgency, and I'm sure that Mr. Kane would understand that too, that it has to happen. So in saying that, the recommendation is back to the original recommendation. Can I please have a mover and seconder? Oh, have I? Sorry. That was Councillor Hooper and Councillor Liston. Sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, it will. Yep. All those in favour? Councillor Morton, Councillor Liston, Councillor Hicks, Councillor Hooper and Councillor Parker, and against Councillor Quinn, Councillor Lindner and Councillor Shilg. I declare it carried. Thank you, councillors. Good debate. 10.2 governance. So 10.2.1 delegation of authority for General Manager's Performance Review Committee. The recommendation is on page 324. Can I have a mover and seconder, please?
Yeah, I'll move that.
Councillor Lindner and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Morton. Any discussion on that? No? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour, declare it carry. Corporate and Community Services, 10.3.1, signing of the contract for residence and service contract for Unit 13, Carla Court. The recommendation is on page 327. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Shield. And a seconder, Councillor Quinn, because you used your microphone. Thank you, Councillor Quinn.
I second the motion, Madam Mayor.
You did push the button. Can I, any discussion? No? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour, declared it carried. 10.3.2 is the quarterly budget review for the 31st of March 2026. The recommendation is on page 329. Could I have a mover and seconder, please?
Move the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Hooper. Councillor Morton. Thank you, Councillor Morton. Would you like to open the discussion, Councillor Hooper?
Nothing specific I would like to discuss, but happy for others.
Any other questions? Yes, Councillor Morton.
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor. I have a question about the blowout in the budget for the Gender Australia Day ceremony. It's on page 330. I'm concerned that a budget blowout, it's close to $7,000 due to the increase in cost of hiring. Is there a danger that this may become a precedent year on year in order to make it difficult for us to budget? Please.
Thank you.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Morton, I think on this particular instance, Australia Day, it was had on a 40-degree day. And I think some of the additional costs were associated with the marquees and just making sure we were comfortable. There was also a lot more people attending than was initially thought. So I know there was extra food, water. I also know that there was some preparation of the site to do with the event, and the hiring costs were more expensive than were originally planned for. It is a possibility, though, that the Australia Day, when we went back and reviewed it, has become quite an expensive event. So I guess it really depends on, the bigger the Shire gets, the more, and the more popular these events are, they will cost more money. So I guess it's more a council decision about how you want to budget for that. So.
Thank you, Louise. Yes, it was a very, very hot day and we were very concerned about the welfare of people coming. And it was very well attended, and I think it's fabulous that we have a lot of people that want to come to Australia Day. Something else, Councillor Morton? Oh, no, Councillor Quinn's waiting patiently. Councillor Quinn.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On page 329, the salaries are below what was expected. There's a reason for that. And the additional revenue resulting in the adjustment of 106,000 to landfill tipping revenue. How did we make extra money out of that?
Thank you, Mr. Quinn.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'll speak to salaries and then I may defer to Dean for comment on the waste. In relation to salaries and wages, we budget for 100% FTE. So that is assuming every position is filled for the entirety of the year. We had a couple of positions that we had planned to recruit to that we hadn't recruited to. So there was a position in the asset team. There was a position in ECDEV that we're carrying some funds through. We also had just general staff turnover, staff on leave. So that will reduce salaries and wages slightly. It's probably not a bad strategy because it's better to be kind of under than over. But I do know that for the next financial year, we will intend to have nearly every position filled. So it will look like that we'll be at 100% capacity. So that's kind of an overall reason as to why we're slightly under at this time.
Mr. Hart.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through you. So with regard to the tipping fees, we had one property that was had asbestos, loose fill asbestos in it, and that was demolished. And that was a significant amount. I think I'm correct, Mr. Payne, on that. That came into council, and that boosted our revenue. So it's a one-off event. It's not a continuing event.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. Any other questions, councillors? No. If not, I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour, declare it carried. 10.3.1 policy adoption, and there is, I think, 4 policies. Recommendation on page 489. Do I have a mover and seconder, please, councillors? Thank you, Councillor Morton. And
I'll read it.
thank you, Councillor Listener. Would you like to read it, Councillor Morton?
349.
The recommendation? Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, 389.
Sorry.
Sorry, I've taken.
On the screen.
Yeah. Where I can't see it, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. The recommendation is that council one, endorse the following policies: information and communication technology acceptable use policy, the cyber security policy, the AI and AI chatbot policy, and the information technology security access policy.
Thank you, Councillor Morton, and Councillor Liston, you seconded it. Any comments or questions, councillors?
None from me. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
I found the policies were well written, and my comment is that it's amazing how much technology changes for us in order to have to make these changes within such short periods of time. I wonder in the next 3 years what we've got coming. So it's amazing. Keeping up with that is an incredible task. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Long. If not, I'll put the vote. All those in favour? All in favour, declared it carried. Engineering, 10.4.1, proposed appointment of Greater Hume Council, appointment of Greater Hume Council as Crown Land Manager for Talmama Rec Reserve. Can I have a mover and seconder, please, councillors?
I'll move that recommendation.
Councillor Lindner, thank you. Councillor Shield,
Second that one.
thank you. Would you like to open discussion, Councillor Lindner?
Yeah, I just, I'm very pleased to notice on page 531 that the $5,000 funds will actually be put aside just for that particular precinct.
Thank you. Councillor Shield, have you got a comment?
Not at this time.
Any other questions, councillors? Yes,
Question
Councillor
there,
Shield.
the engineer.
Councillor Quinn.
Through you, Madam Mayor, the engineer. 5,000 will soon run out. If we've got to look after the thing, why Crown Land handing it over? There's a reason. Obviously not to our benefit neither, probably.
No, through Madam Mayor, the Crown Land aren't handing over. It's actually committee of management that's been there for a substantive amount of time, and amount of time a lot of them get old, and they've dealt with what they believe, and they were handing it back to the Crown, and Crown went to us and said, are we interested in looking after it? Because obviously there's generally only a committee of management or council. In regard to it, there are very few sites to get access down to the river along River Road. This is a prime opportunity to continue access down to the river in that location, but it also comes with a substantial amount of land that we believe we can lease out for grazing. It's about nearly, not quite 5 hectares. We believe a simple fencing arrangement will allow grazing to occur, which will get an income for them to help manage the site. Very little has to be done up there. Clearly, there's only some minor maintenance would have to drop in every few months to look at, but it's pretty much a native sort of area that people use just to camp by the river in that regard. So we just believe it's a prime opportunity to retain that. And our plan is to, like I said, lease out a majority of it, and that will pay for any works that we need to do down there.
Thank you, Mr. Blackie. Councillor Quinn, would you like to make another comment?
Just make a comment. I wish you well, Mr. Engineer, with the fencing. I'm doing quite a bit of fencing at present, and I know what the cost is, and you'll lease that few hectares out for the next 50 years and you might get 5% on your money.
Thank you, Councillor Quinn. Beautiful part of the world, though. Councillor Morton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Blackie, I'm very familiar with this part of the world. As far as safety with camping, it's quite dangerous down along the river due to the size and the density of the old river trees. I've actually personally been there when a large branch came crashing down. The road in there to the river is almost impassable. It goes through a paddock shore, and that paddock would be suitable for grazing, but as far as a reserve's concerned for visitors, campers and things, it's very unsafe, and I'd suggest that that needs to have an assessment in order to accentuate the safety of that area, in particularly the maintenance of the road.
Mr. Blackie.
Thank you.
Yeah, staff have, through you, Madam Mayor, staff have had a look at it and believe we can undertake some maintenance that would meet the requirements of safety. We've also got to install appropriate signage, which is our remote supervision via signage, which is our minimum requirement to do, I guess, meet our safety requirements down there. Obviously, a lot of gum trees drop limbs. That's not a matter, we're not going to say not camp underneath them. We can only tell people not to generally do it, but that's generally for all our parks anywhere we've got native trees. So we believe our insurance companies have advised us in parks and recs, as long as we've got signs there advising that it's unsafe, it meets the requirements. But to clear anything or do anything, we don't want to do anything down there. We believe it's quite safe. Yes, the access road, and there is only one bit of fencing to be done. Like the rest of the site is actually fenced, because it's been grazed before, and it's grazed at the moment. There's only one fence line, and we know we have to grow the track down there, but we're not going to turn it into a we're not going to seal it or anything like that. We just want to encourage a few people to go down there and enjoy the point where it is nearby the river.
Thank you, Mr. Blackie. Any other comments or questions? Okay, I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour, declared it carried. Thank you, councillors. 10.4.2, proposed licence for unused road reserve Womargama Hotel. The recommendation is on page 536. Could I have a mover and seconder, please?
I'll move the motion.
Thank you, councillor Shilg. And a seconder? Thank you, councillor Liston.
I'll second that motion.
Would you like to make any comments, councillor Shilg?
I think it's quite a good idea that they can utilise that extra space out the front. It is a bit of a no man's piece of ground. So if they can put it to better use, well, then that's great.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Blackie, would you mind turning off your mic? Thank you. If not, I'll put it. All those in favour? All in favour, declare it carried. There are no items referred to closed councils. Reports from officers, part B. Councillor Hicks, I'm waiting for you. C and D.
Yes, let's move those as a block, please. B, C and D.
Thank you, councillor Hicks.
I'll second that.
And councillor Lindner, thank you very much. Any questions or comments, councillors? No?
Yep.
Oh, councillor Morton, sorry.
Thank you. Page 548. Regional Roads Block Grant MR 331 asphalting of Balfour Street. Minor works. The reallocation of the $30,000 left over from that project has been moved to the parks portfolio for the specific use of the footbridge. Moving my issue is moving money from one section of the budget being urban roads into parks and gardens. Could we have better spent that money on fixing people's potholes and so forth around urban roads in the town? Through you, Madam Mayor, to Mr. Blackie.
Thank you, Mr. Blackie. Would you like to turn off your mic, please, councillor Morton? Thank you.
In relation to that, that was obviously a previous report to council about the actual that project, and was saying where the money was coming from was actually approved by council. In relation to urban maintenance monies, there is a substantial amount of the urban garden areas that is in the urban roads area. There is a Pacific, the urban roads are built into two sections, being the maintenance of the sealed roadway and also all the garden areas around. And there's two substantive amounts that sit within urban roads. So there already is a substantial amount of money that's already allocated in urban roads. But when looked at this specific project, we knew there was an allocation in Colcan in the urban area that was more relative associated with the pedestrian bridge because it's relative to Colcan, and we obviously had savings there. So we're not doing anything less, and I believe our road network in Colcan is in the urban streets is quite good, and we're still maintaining within our budget that we've got. So I guess it was a judgment call, but it was brought to council previously.
Thank you, Mr. Blackie.
Mr. Blackie, just a subsequent question. There's a park, Middleton Park had a swing set removed due to it being outdated and potentially dangerous, leaving an empty park with no swing. The cost of a swing would be between $15,000 to $20,000. We've got a community that have children without a swing, and yet we have a bridge that's sitting in a yard waiting for $100,000 worth of grants. Would this money not be better spent in replacing that swing set for the community?
Mr. Blackie?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor. This was brought to council earlier when we removed the actual playground structure, and it was agreed by council at the time to leave it as a green space, not a playground. So that's what council's directive was. So that's why we haven't planned to put any playground equipment back or any other additional furniture in that site, because at the time council's agreed to it to be a green space only. So I've just followed council's direction in that regard.
Thank you, Mr Blackie. Any further questions or comments, councillors?
I was
Oh,
just
Councillor
commenting
Shaw.
on the Middleton Park. It's good that the tree is surviving. It's had its doctor look at it, the big pine tree. And then it was a good idea to have just a plain green space, just a nice spot to be or have a picnic or whatever, just for the time being anyway. So, yes, I think it'll be utilised quite well now that they know the tree's staying, because they're quite happy that big old tree's staying.
Thank you, Councillor Schultz. No other discussion, councillors? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour of moving B, C and D?
Oh,
sorry.
Mayor, I've got another item.
Yeah.
Part D, were the minutes from communities, 355 committees, etc., are contained in our paper as we do monthly. I note the absence of any minuted information from the Burrumbuttock community with regards to their recent application for a grant towards a community space. It was shared through the councillors that there had been an application submitted and seeking the acknowledgement from the General Manager. However, I would expect that this motion would have been minuted and submitted to our council for information going forward for transparency. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Morton. No comment? We could reach out to them and ask them if they can supply the minutes, I suppose, Councillor Morton. Thank you.
Can I just ask you, Madam Mayor, was that in between meetings perhaps, or that information has come more recently? I'm not sure. I haven't got that. What page were those minutes on? I just haven't recalled the month that they had their meeting, because I don't, Councillor Linda may be able to enlighten us how often they have their meeting.
Page 698, and there was Brocklesby, Colcan, CDC, Henty CDC of Waller Community Committee. No comment?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'm happy to make
Thank
a
you.
general comment around Part D. So Part D, you can see in there we've got minutes there from February meetings. We don't always get, like, from council's perspective, not the Section 355 perspective. I'm not talking about that side. We don't always get the minutes straight away. So as soon as we have them emailed in, that's when they form part of this. So it wouldn't be, I appreciate what you're saying around the rec ground. That probably needs an additional piece of correspondence to come through council. The General Manager and I have discussed that and said, like, we feel like we need to clean that up a little bit. And so it was a discussion, probably just time permitting. We didn't get to we weren't able to get to that point. But I feel like if that grant was successful, there'd have to be another piece of correspondence come back to council about that, because we would need to have a discussion around support of the project. So if that's perhaps maybe where you're going with the minutes, or
I just think that given that we've done and our staff have done such a lot of work with regards to grant applications, management of such and so forth, and in the past policies for such projects, that it was quite clear that minutes need to be presented. And that I would assume to be at the very beginning of a process. I would have preferred to have seen a letter from the community indicating that they will be approaching the General Manager to approve or acknowledge the fact that they've got an application that they're putting in. I would like to see that minuted. I would expect that from my community.
Yeah, so there has been previous correspondence come through from Burrumbuttock about the multi-purpose area. So that has come through previously, but nothing specific about this grant application that was submitted. So that is definitely something that would need to come back through. And I respect the viewpoint. We don't mandate that at this point, but if it could just be best practice, that we should be educating our rec reserves that best practice would be that you do put something in writing and we'll submit it to the next meeting. So we can certainly educate them and ask for that, but it's not always an efficient. The minutes don't always come through there and then. We sometimes get them months in retrospect. So,
Thanks,
Thank
Louise.
you.
I think considering that they are a Section 355 Committee of Council, all their minutes should be coming to us so that we know what's going on. So that's just my opinion. With they're controlling our asset, we should know what's going on for sure. Just a comment.
Through you, Madam Mayor, further to the director's comments, a further report will be coming to council. There, as Louise and I discussed, whether that is once the grant application comes through or prior to that. So more than happy to bring a report through to council in the June council meeting.
Any other questions? Oh, Councillor Liston, sorry. Sitting
Through you, Madam Mayor, just,
Thank you.
sorry, a couple of questions for Mr Blackie, just on, while we're on page 695, the Burrumbuttock Waller Road stage 1 was deferred. That's, I think you said, just until next financial year.
Correct. There's 4 stages to the project that we've done over 4 years. We're obviously just deferred stage 1 into the stage with stage 2 next year.
Yep. Thank you. And the other one was the River Road, the dust seals. There's half a dozen at least, and I presume they're just in front of the residential properties.
Yeah, in front of residential properties as well as within Tel Malmo sort of area as well. There's a number along there that are all been sealed. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions, councillors? No? If not, I'll put B, C and D. All those in favour? All in favour, declared it carried. Thank you, councillors. Are there any matters of urgency, councillors? No? Thank you. If not, I'll close the meeting at 6:52.